Hello, namaste. Welcome to the print. My name is Amana Begam, and this week I have written the article that displaying eatery owner's name does not protect Kanwariya and Kanwariya's sentiment basically, and it basically create a potential of discrimination. So by now, the controversy of Kanwar Yatra possession and Uttar Pradesh bizarre dictate around this entire possession that the eateries have to display the name of honor and the staff by now has also caught the attention of foreign media. And Supreme Court also has put stay on this controversial absurd order by the Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand police asking eatery to show the name of the staff and honor of the trees. And the top court also argued that it is discriminatory. I would say that it is dishonesty to say that displaying name has no discriminatory element when the entire context of this decision was to avoid offending Kanwar sentiment. If the intention was not to create religious discrimination or divide, but to facilitate devotee, a very legitimate concern, I would say, in itself, the authority could have simply required eateries to ask them to display their whether they serve pure vegetarian food or not. So basically, how would a name of the owner or the staff will provide the clarity that whether a place is serving sattvic vegetarian food or not? Because you cannot argue that the Muslims are very easy to identify. There are a lot of Hindu also who serve and eat non-veg food. So it feels like actually focusing on the need of devotee without infringing the privacy based on religious identity can be achieved. However, BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party's spokesperson have different than the order, and their argument is that there should be no issue with displaying name if there is nothing to hide, and also that this rule is applied to everyone non to Muslim. But this argument basically misses the main point. The question should not be that someone want to hide or display their name, but why any organization should be required or not required but enforced to reveal the name of people staff working in there and the honor. Businesses are set up to make a profit and draw in clients, and the identity, if someone believes, can put them in a uh, I would say in a place which is not favorable to them, and they don't want to do that. What's wrong in that? I mean, there are lots of organization which export beef abroad, and the owners are Hindu, and they think that putting an Abrahamic sounding name is beneficial for them, and why they shouldn't be allowed. I do not understand this idea. And also, let's not forget that there is extreme far right wing element currently in India, and they have always been there, which support the economic boycott of Muslims. Yes, they do not speak for the majority of India, but orders like this only facilitate these elements, these ideological extremists. And the state work is to curb such extremist element, not appease them. And by enforcing such discriminatory measure, I would say that we are all only going to validate and empower them, this fringe group. The other argument about this entire decision is about the idea of halal and how this halal process is by default discriminatory to non-Muslims. However, let me remind that Uttar Pradesh government has already put a ban on halal certification, except for product for the exports designated for the export. And I would argue that there is a need of greater awareness regarding halal process and food. So I would simply put that halal refers to the food that Muslims are allowed to consume. And if halal is discriminatory against non-Muslim or not, for that, please read my article. I do not believe that entire halal industry would be discriminatory because halal is not prohibited for the non-Muslims. Neither in this industry non-Muslims are prohibited to be employed. However, there's a one, I would say that one position which is of the butcher. It the entire slaughtering rituals is in a such a fashion that a Muslim can also will not can a Muslim will only end up butchering the halal meat. So that one profession, I would say, would be the discriminatory to non-Muslims, not other, even not the meat industry. Because if you talk about the halal certification, McDonald's has a halal certification. Can you argue that McDonald's only hire the Muslims? And not only McDonald, the this company of Licious, which sells meat, you cannot argue. They also have a halal certificate, and there's a no. I mean, it's absurd to think that they only employ the Muslims. However, having said that, this requirement of halal certification for the Muslims, there's a no such a need. Basically, Muslim can easily read the FSSI label and know that based on the ingredients that if the product is I mean suitable for consumption or not. However, for the meat consumption, they know that if it is halal or not. Apart from that, there is a no need to, I would say that complicating market landscape and dividing the consumer because it still have a certain kind of religious sentiment to it. So it is understandable that people also it is understandable, I would say, people who do not follow Islam might not want to eat the halal meat because there is a specific Islamic rituals attached to the entire preparation, so they have the right to consume what they prefer. However, there are those of other faith who have no issue, and there are a lot of those people. So that's why a lot of organizations prefer to serve halal because Muslims eat halal and non-Muslim don't have any problem with it. So that way they can cater both Muslim and non-Muslims with the halal certification. Having said that, we also started seeing that there are Sattvic Council of India, which issue the Sattvic food certification for people who want to eat pure vegetarian. So it is similar way that if an eatery is serving if an eatery sorry restaurant is serving uh, vegetarian food, for them Sattvic certificate could be benefited because the pure vegetarian people will eat here, but Muslims, Jews, or anyone else also would prefer to eat there. So we are discussing basically food and sentiment attached to it. And I do believe that imposing choices on other based on personal sentiment is not the way to go ahead approach entire thing, specifically in a country like India, which is such a vast and there are so many people of different faith coexist. And while non-vegetarian food seems to often cover the sentiment, same we can see in the case of the Kashmir, where according to the MP Sayyid Ruhullah Mehendi, uh, the entire alcohol thing basically kind of is against the sentiment of majority. And he also submitted a private bill to enforce complete prohibition on liquor and intoxicant in the Union Territory. Irony here is that this bill is introduced by Jammu Kashmir National Conference member who previously served in the Umar Abdullah's cabinet, and during that time his government has issued a liquor license in the region, and he was the cabinet minister that time. It was not that he was not the part of the minister, and they collected approximately 337 crore from liquor sales in 2010 and 11, and around 385 crore in 11 and 12, which was that time highest ever since 1918. So this bill basically feels a kind of political gimmick to me, because then why didn't they ask for the ban when they were in the power? So Mendy's desire to seek imposing this religious sentiment on everyone, including in tourists, are just the same bad idea. Respecting sentiment, but at the cost of the freedom in multicultural nation like India, is not a good idea, and we must figure out how to honor people's feeling without forcing them on each other. And the religious sentiment of Kavariya must be respected, but by not enforcing rules that are discriminatory and attack the freedom guaranteed by the constitution. Similar in the case of Mehndi demand. So for detail, I would suggest please go and read my article that why I do believe that this entire idea to display enforced display basically honors name and the name of a staff is not a good idea. And also this ban in itself is not very good idea. We have seen what happened in Gujarat, that entire ban on the alcohol race to lead to the rise of black market, not, no solution. Please go and read my article. For more such a video, keep watching print. Thank you.